Well, I'll need to see Justin Fields healthy in the fourth quarter. That would be key. But I want to see the Ohio State running game run like they did in 2017, and completely opposite of how they did last year. You'll get Justin Fields back involved, and basically the offensive line just setting the tone, imposing their will, and getting back to being kind of the badasses that they're supposed to be, that they weren't last year. And I'm really high on this group of offensive linemen in their ability to do just that. And then again, on defense, just be solid and consistent. Let's not see 31 points to Oregon State or a 93-yard touchdown to a random running back. And just you don't have to be the silver bullets right away, because it's going to be the first game and Florida Atlantic's going to have some things for you that you've never seen before. But just look very good, look competent, look as good as a Clemson or an Alabama in an opener that you're favored by 4 touchdowns in. You're supposed to win this by a lot, look good doing it, and stay healthy at quarterback.
Steve, anything in particular that you'd like to see?
Well, I think a lot of it's going to be on Justin Fields. I think we don't know publicly what he is capable of doing. We've seen little drips and drabs from mop-up action against Georgia and kind of an underwhelming performance in Ohio State's spring game. But again, there's so much more to his game probably than anybody has seen yet. And so to me, he needs to come out and be sharp and show that he's got command of the offense and can be a leader. And those are all things I think that are very important with this game, just for him. A lot of pressure on him. When you think about Ohio State's ranked 5th in the preseason poll, that's on the cusp of the playoff, picked at least via the AP polls, the top team in the Big Ten. You don't just show up in the middle of October and play to that level. You have to start out playing at that level in late August and September to be able to maintain that level throughout the season. So to me, I think people want to see, is this guy all he's cracked up to be? So I hate to put it all entirely on him, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of eyes on every move he makes and everything he does and every body language and every, you should have done this or whatever. People are going to be critiquing every move he makes because there's tougher games coming down the pipe. Cincinnati next week, at Indiana the following week. And I think to me, I agree with everything Tony said. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that you're looking for this week because it's a brand new team making their first appearance. But at the same time, I look at it and I just think that this season is pinned on Fields in so many ways.
Kevin, can you add anything? I know when you bat cleanup, it's difficult to come up with anything else.
Well, I'll say that I'm going to agree with everything that's been said before me, and
too much agreement here. We need a good game. We need like a Nebraska week, I guess.
Right. I think that I'm really interested in seeing what the secondary is going to do. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Damon Arnett really having a bounce back. Jeff Hafley's had a lot of good things to say about him. I know that fans last year certainly didn't have a lot of good things to say there, but I want to see how he looks. I want to see if Jeffrey Okudah looks like a projected first-round NFL draft type of guy. I want to see what this bullet position is going to be all about. We may not get to see everything there just based on what FAU's composition is and what they do well. I mean, they were a running team last year. I mean, their best offensive player is a tight end. We may see a little bit more Pete Werner out there just based on who's going to be out there. But I want to see what defensively, what the structure is and how things may look a little bit different. And I certainly don't want to see the linebackers playing up the line of scrimmage.
I always enjoyed the contribution to Justin Wright. He's watched us on a regular basis and comments. I'm just wanting to know a little bit more because Claire, he believes that the FAU has some kind of chance in this game, but for some reason, pace of play is going to be a factor in this one.
So, I have a list of things that I would like to see, but,
Yep.
of course, we talked about it a couple weeks ago as far as the pace of the game. I think the one thing that the coaches have mentioned that the Ohio State defense is really focusing on this year is turnovers. And last year, Florida Atlantic was not a great team. They were in the wrong side of the column on turnovers. And if we know anything about just the kind of feel behind a game and the literal statistics behind the team that wins the turnover battle. If Ohio State can win the turnover battle, I think it does a lot to boost the confidence of a team. And then it really just demeans an offense that's really just turning over the ball often. So that's one thing I'd like to see is the Ohio State defense, win the turnover battle. And I think discipline comes along with that. How aggressive the Ohio State defense is going to be is going to depend on how much trickeration I think Florida Atlantic is going to throw at that Ohio State defense. And I think, honestly, there'll probably be quite a bit to start with. I think not, crazy trick plays, and it might be, but lots of quick hits and, screens and kind of spreading the field out. To really see how disciplined this Ohio State defense can be and maybe make some room for an offense. But pace of the game, I think that's really going to be dependent on how balanced the offense is and how much Justin Fields is actually having to take the ball into his own hands, how many broken plays there are. If it doesn't have to be a high a tempo offense, then I don't see why they would. But Ohio State is always going to win a pace game on a team that they have they're outmatching someone else's depth. So Ohio State definitely has more depth than Florida Atlantic.